This meeting is being recorded.
Yeah.
Good to go, Eric.
All right, Julie.
Thanks.
All right, welcome everyone to the Personnel Committee meeting for Monday, November 7th. In accordance with the requirements of open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and will be able to be found on Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. Following information is all provided for members of the public that would like to view the meeting remotely. To view remotely, use the Zoom link provided in the agenda, or you can call in from a telephone. The agenda lists all the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by open meeting law. We'll start with any public comment from committee members. Any? All right, I don't see any. Any public comment from members of the public? All right, not hearing any. Let's move on to approval of the minutes from September 26, 2022.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of September 26, 2022.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor, Sue,
Aye.
Wendy,
Aye.
Joanna,
Aye.
Donna,
Aye.
and Eric's and I. Next item is the ongoing business of we have an update on the classification and compensation study.
So last we spoke of this, we were looking to see if the town had funds already available to fund the project, or if we'd have to go to the special town meeting for funding. We do have enough funds available through one of our accounts to cover the expense. So we're ready to move forward. Mary Beth Bernard, who is the founder of HR Key Solutions, is here with us. She has an extensive background in human resources, and correct me if I'm wrong, but last position held was with the town of Foxborough as Assistant Town Manager, HR Director. And she's been consulting since it looked like about 2016 and really took off in 2018. So she has quite a few years under her belt, and of the references, the communities that I've asked, they've all had positive things to say about her, which I did share with you prior. So Mary Beth is here. She's going to maybe introduce herself a little bit more in depth and walk us through the steps of what we'll be doing as part of the study.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to meet you. Thanks for having me at your meeting. I come by way of a number of background experiences. I worked in higher ed. I spent 20 years of my municipal career in municipal human resources, 13 years with the town of Westwood, and 5 years with the town of Foxborough as the assistant town manager, HR director. I retired from there when my business became really busy. I do stay on. I have for the past 3 years actually, with the town of Rentham, working part-time, helping them to build an HR department. I live in Rentham, so I sort of a near and dear to my heart, but primarily I'm a municipal consultant. I do have private sector and public sector clients, and I'm currently teaching in a certificate program for Suffolk University in human resources as well. I'm thrilled to be able to engage in another project with Lunenburg. I did one a few years back prior to Julie's coming on board, we did an HR audit and some job descriptions. I also did some anti-harassment discrimination training for department heads. So it's been a wonderful community to work with, and I'm looking forward to getting started.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have, I saw the, thanks for providing the kind of proposal and scope of what's going to be studied. Does anyone else on the committee have some questions? Joanna?
Thank you, Eric. I'm just done raising my hand. I confused myself easy. Hi, Dave. Very nice meeting you. A
Nice
quick
to meet
question
you.
now. I did a survey with the Collins Center for working in the town of Townsend, and we're
Mhm.
currently doing one for the city of Fitchburg. So does yours work in that same philosophy as the Collins Center, where you like work with each department head? How does your process work, Mary Beth?
Sure. Right now, we're scheduled to officially begin the project November 28th, but prior to that, we do some pre-work in coordination with the town, with Julie. I'll be sending out some position analysis questionnaires for all of the job descriptions we'll be studying. Employees will complete those and their supervisors will look at them and approve them and comment. So that's the pre-work. Come November 28th, I'll be looking at all of the job descriptions. Concurrently, I'll be running a market survey for the comparable communities that the town has identified as, communities that they would kind of find themselves comparing to. Maybe they're losing employees to those, or finding that, the towns that they're recruiting from. And so concurrently, that process will go on. We'll conduct some job description interviews and on site with employees, send drafts back, and then create a compensation plan that meets the town's compensation strategy, and would present that probably by the end of January, which is about 8 weeks from the start of the official start of the project, and wait for comments, edits, feedback, and then by the 15th of February, hoping to wrap up. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Good.
Any other questions? Wendy?
Just a quick question, in terms of a 2-week turnaround, because obviously, we had been clear in terms of, our timeline, and that February 15th for us is really a sweet spot.
Mhm.
It's going to challenge us a bit. If we don't have our final, our final draft by then. If end of January is an aim, is February 15th realistic to come back with edits?
Depending on what the board's process is and the town's, it seems like it would work for me. Typically, I keep an ongoing dialogue with the community as well, saying, this position seems a little out of whack, or this data, is unclear. So I would continue to follow up. So there's lots of communication as we go through the process, as we develop the compensation plan and evaluate the positions. So I do think that would be, for my purposes, I think I could have a good draft to Julie, and then, get edits back and work on it. I do have some contract staff that I work with, so won't be doing it single-handedly. I have a couple of expert people that I use as well.
And just one follow-up to that, our communication would come through Julie, questions, edits, concerns, anything throughout the process to you?
I believe that's my understanding. I'll have Julie speak to that. That's typically how the projects work, but I'll have Julie confirm that.
Yeah, I think if that's typically how you, you know, kind of assign as 1 point person for each community to kind of be that person to funnel through. Yes.
Thank you.
And Julie has her finger on the pulse of what you're looking for too. So I'm sure that all of the discussions you've had, she'll be guiding me based on those as well.
Barb, has your hand up?
Thank you. I just, because we didn't receive any copy of the proposal, I just have a couple questions. How much was the proposal for monetarily?
The proposal was for $9,300 for 45 active positions and 9 clerical positions, with an understanding that there are some inactive positions we're going to look at as well. So could be as many as 72. So it's a pretty aggressive timeline for the number of positions, but that's the estimated cost. That's the proposed, and that will be the cost.
Thank you, Mary Beth. And how many hours did you basically allot for this project?
Well, it's, you know, it depends. Could be, it fluctuates, you know, it could be 80 to 100 hours, depending on the number of face-to-face interviews, the difficulty in getting the data. Not all communities, we use a benchmark database, but not every community puts the data in. So there's a lot of scouring town emails and reaching out to HR people and finance people. So it's a lot of time. So I typically price it based on number of positions because that works out, you know, to the amount of work. I've been doing this for a number of years, and based on the number of positions, this seems like about the right, it's going to take that amount of time and that amount of money.
Barb,
And
I can read you the kind of bullet points of the proposal real quickly here. It's like she said, it's the compensation classification study of approximately 45 active Lunenburg SAP positions and approximately 9 clerical positions, to include the following: evaluate current job descriptions for the purpose of classification and compensation, conduct interviews and revise position descriptions as necessary, establish comparable communities and conduct salary survey, review current compensation plan and analysis of midpoint differentials, range spreads, compare Lunenburg's current compensation plans to determine internal equity, draft a classification plan with recommended grades for each position, provide final report. And the time frame is November 28th to February 15th. And that's about it.
All right, I would, if you don't mind, I would love a copy of that. It should be a matter of public record, so I don't know if you can just add it to your minutes for the meeting or whatever. I just have one follow-up for Mary Beth. You mentioned that the communities are provided, but I would hope that if you search certain communities that don't have certain jobs, that you also have a bank of HR professionals that can go to that are outside of the general list.
Yes, that's correct. Definitely for positions. I'll be looking at just the number that I've written. Job descriptions, I'm like a self-proclaimed job description nerd, so they are my favorite thing. Whatever town I've worked in or consulted for, I've written the job descriptions myself. So for job descriptions, I'll be taking those from a number of different you know, pieces of experience that I've had, as well as, you know, a catalog of job descriptions that I created. But as far as the compensation and classification, we typically try to do, you know, communities that the town, for other purposes, not just class and comp, compare themselves to, whether it's equalized value, you know, tax rate, home price, annual per capita income, any of those DLS kind of those things. But if we see that there might be a community that is equally, you know, could be matched up to you, but wasn't on our original list that we thought. We'd also suggest other communities that we thought might be comparables for you.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
Joanna?
Would you also be looking at elected positions such as the town clerk, which is an elected position, but is very low in salary to the median of her peer group?
If it's on my list, I'm gonna look at it. So I can ask Julie, is that one? I know despite being elected, if it might still, it doesn't look like it is on my
No, it's not.
classification list.
No.
Can you explain why that's been left off?
Well, we're doing SAP and clerical employees as an elected official. We don't set her rate. Like I
Well,
don't.
no, we make recommendations to town meeting. So you're not doing, this is only going to be for the staff employees, not all department heads or clerks? Because
The list that the town, in the scope of work, when we discussed it, the town had SAP and some clerical positions. That was what the proposal encompassed, because that was the need the town expressed.
which I totally understand.
Mhm.
My concern on that is then we move forward with your recommendations, go to town meeting, and then because the other unions aren't making what we might be recommending, they don't get supported. So I'm nervous that we're going to invest all this time and money into this survey, but then the other clerical staff is going to have concerns that we might be outpacing them, and it won't get the support as this just actually happened to us on a couple of things, that because it wasn't in other contracts, even though we spent a year changing and recommending those changes, they weren't supported because it wasn't impacting the other unions as well.
Well, I can't speak to the town strategy for how they're rolling this out or what the status of collective bargaining is, whether they've looked at the other positions or not. As I said, based on the town expressed a need, and that's where the proposal came from. So
And I
I'm
apologize.
happy to
Mary Beth,
explore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that wasn't directed for you to answer. I apologize.
okay.
Well, from what I understand, the unions, and Nancy might be the better person to answer this with her history. But from what I understand is that the unions are responsible for doing their own surveys. So this committee serves for the salary administrative positions. Because some of the job descriptions cross over into the clerical union, we are looking at those positions as well. So we, say an administrative assistant, whether it's part-time or it's a full-time, and then as a clerical position, it's the same exact job description. There's no, like, public safety doesn't fall under, there's no duplicate of duties under the SAP and say public safety, for example.
Thanks.
Is that, Julie, do you know, is that the select board that sets like the town clerk salary?
I don't actually know that.
'Cause it's
I
not, it isn't.
I don't know if it's just voted on.
Yeah, someone at town meeting has to recommend that, she get an increase, decrease. And just now, I know, because I work in that field, and she's one of the lowest paid ones. And I just didn't know if we were looking at that.
I mean, I think someone should be looking at it, but it's not us, because we're just the SAP, so. I think one thing that might, help. Other positions, or even the town clerk is like the assistant town clerk is part of the SAP. So if there's, maybe that recommendation of salary or grade for that may be helpful for recommendations by, or consideration by the select board as far as what should the town clerk salary be.
Correct.
So Eric, just, the assistant town clerk is a clerical union position.
It's a union position,
Yes,
but
it's a
it's, still-
clerical union, but we're still gonna be looking at it.
well, the positions.
Oh, I lost you.
I said the positions listed in the SAP.
Yes, I guess it, and that's what I'm saying. There's some positions that are listed under the clerical union if they're full-time, if they're over the 20 hours, or if they're not, if they're less than, if they're 19 and under, that's where they fall in the SAP. So that job description would be one that would have one job description and it's driven based on the hours. So that's why we're kind of looking at it, whether it falls into clerical or the SAP. Does that make more sense?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for Mary Beth? All right, Mary Beth, well, thank you for joining us tonight and answering our questions, and I know it's gonna be a big help, the work that we were thinking we'd have to do, and I'm happy that you're available to do it for us.
Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to working with Julie and, meeting the employees in the town to get you something that is fair and equitable and fits your strategy and your budget. So, thanks for having me. Good luck with the rest of your meeting. Bye,
Thanks, Mary
Julie.
Beth. Bye, thank you.
Thanks.
Some on the agenda is for new business. We have a new hire for the recreation director, Julie.
Yeah, we're gonna table that for now. So we can pass over that and move on.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then the only other item was from our last meeting that we didn't get to. Wendy wanted to discuss our meetings, or how we schedule meetings. So I'll turn to you, Wendy.
Yeah, and I mean, we've had a big pause in our meetings. I guess I was just trying to kind of figure out the lay of the land as far as we have put in place first Monday of the month. Would any additional meetings, like we were having a bunch firing off between July, August, and September, are those only if they cannot wait until that first meeting of, just because I know sometimes it was, scheduling was getting tough. And then, folks couldn't, at the last minute make the meetings. So I was just trying to figure out if that would be our strategy moving forward. If something absolutely can't wait, then trying to get something, and even if we can only get 3 or 4 of us go with that.
Yeah, I think so it's like the work we do is a little bit different in the sense that there can be that sense of urgency for an unplanned or unscheduled meeting because of hiring that needs to be done, and the fact that they want the town wants the person to start ASAP, and if they're hired at above step 1, then we need to approve that. So I think that's part of the challenge of just having like one meeting a month or whatever, is that sometimes you'd like to get the town would like to have us meet sooner to get someone working. Is that correct, Julie?
Yes, and even if it's modifying a job description, it's all based around the hiring. So typically, I mean, and at that case, if something else were to come up and we had this meeting scheduled for, based around hiring, if something did come up, I might put it on the agenda. We don't have to, we could just meet to go over the urgent matter and hold off on adding anything else to it, that's an option.
I think what we, I don't know, I think I've been on this committee maybe, I don't know, 6 years. And who've been on it even longer than me. I think she was. But we never had a regularly scheduled meeting. It would just be called as needed or as we felt we needed to have one. And that's basically why, because they were just, it was as needed. And then I think, recently we tried to take on the more regular work of trying to fix the salary schedule and look at a lot of changes. So we had a lot of meetings the past year. And yeah, I was busy over the summer with lots of new hires, as I think lots of places, that's just been the trend around the country with trying to fill open spots. But it does seem to have slowed down now some. So hopefully it will be a little less chaotic and easier to schedule going forward. Barb, did you have a question?
Yes, please. I thought I'd second that. If I can make the request that if it's a new hire situation or you need, quick turnaround, that I don't personally, I'm not speaking for everyone, but I don't have an issue with calling a meeting outside of the first Monday. But I think we've got such a wide base of employees that are covered under SAP. If they knew that the first Monday of every month, they could come to a meeting and voice anything going on that they need to talk about with the SAP, I think it's helpful. We've lost that. We did used to have that, and it has just disappeared. So
What do you mean? What's disappeared?
just a regular meeting. It did used to happen. And
We've had the regularly scheduled, Monday meeting for, I don't know how long now.
not this summer, though. It kind of came and went. I think it would be helpful. It just gives the base or the SAP employees a place to go and know that on the first Monday of the month, they have a meeting. They can attend or not. And I don't know, maybe it's a requirement that they contact the chair and say they have a public comment or an agenda item or something, but I think it's just helpful to have a regular meeting that they can count on.
Yeah, there might have been some changes over the summer just because of committee members' travel plans and stuff that didn't always work out.
And holidays, to be honest, right? July 4th was first Monday of the month, and that was a holiday. So
yeah, summer was different. Joanna?
Thank you, Eric. Yeah, I think we should at least, and I know we committed to the salary plan. So if we could get back to kind of the first Monday, so Mary Beth can give us updates to her progress where she's at. If Mondays still work for people, is that a day that still works for everybody? Monday at 5, Monday at 6?
6 is better for me.
Yeah, I'd say 6 is generally better for me too.
Okay. So, just, and then we can see if she's doing January, February, then we'll have something for town meeting, hopefully from whatever Mary Beth shares with us. So I'm okay with trying to get back on track for Mondays if we can.
I think it's a good idea to have that standing meeting for a variety of reasons. In particular, if there are new hires, if it's, a week prior to our meeting, we know, okay, by the time, if we just sort of went with that ad hoc way of scheduling, everybody's trying to put their schedules together, but at least we know there's a standing, one day per month if something more is needed. The other thing I wondered about is if we have a more urgent meeting, do we want to set any sort of, I mean, our quorum would be 3. Do we want to say that, you know, if we can't for a week or so get 5 of us, that we just go with 3 or 4? Because I know that, you know, that was a bit of our struggle with some of our meetings too.
Right, and if it's a quick meeting like that, can we do it during the day at like a lunch hour at 1 o'clock, where that's a 15-minute that we can zoom in and kind of do that, not waiting to a 6 o'clock at evening thing, if it's just a new hire paperwork to help Julie move it along.
That's going to be difficult for me to commit to.
Okay. Well, so for right now, I think we just move forward with the first Monday at 6 PM. And then Julie will have to figure out a meeting quorum as she has things that can't wait till the first Monday of the month.
Yeah, I think that we did have to do the, you know, kind of minimum of 3 rule a couple times in the past few months, just because nothing seemed to be working out for all of us to get together on short notice. So that, I think that's fine to do, you know, out
I
of
agree.
necessity for some of these things. But yeah,
Is
let's,
there a chance that we can start meeting together in person again?
yeah, I mean, I can, depending on the time, but like for a Monday at 6, I could.
I would request the hybrid because I don't know on days I can or I can't.
Julie, have they, this is all allowed by the state. What was the extension for? How much longer do we have this ability? Extend it again.
26.
Oh yeah, 2026?
No, I apologize. December 15th of 23.
Oh,
They pushed it out 18 months.
okay. Well, for a little while.
In my opinion, I think that the hybrid or Zoom leaves the ability for more people to be able to attend.
Yeah.
I agree. And the other thought on that is, I think it's also harder if, let's say there's 5 of us and 2 are on Zoom and 3 are in person. It's tougher to engage. I think it's either better sort of one or the other.
Yeah, and I mean, the other part to that too, Wendy, is right, when we couldn't get enough people to have a quorum, if we all physically went to a location because we agreed that that's what we were going to do, and then, you know, that takes time to get there, and if you don't live close, that's a problem too, right? So I think Zoom gives the most opportunity for the maximum number of people to attend.
Right, on all fronts, both, you know, SAP or you know, members / public. And as well, you know, Donna, you travel sometimes, like all of that, you know, allows us to still, you know, sort of keep with the meeting schedule that we have. Perhaps somebody, you know, can't make 6 o'clock in person, but they could from a location. Particularly
Absolutely.
big agenda. If we know we're going to be done in, you know, 20 minutes. Because sometimes you can look at an agenda and you know, say, okay, we're approving, you know, 1 or 2, you know, new positions, and that's all that's on the agenda. That won't be the case the next few months. We'll obviously have more back and forth as we get check-ins from Mary Beth, but generally speaking.
All right, so if we're trying to stick with the first Monday of the month, the next meeting would be Monday, December 5th at 6 o'clock. Does that sound doable?
Yes.
Okay. Julie, do you anticipate that we would need to meet earlier than that? Because of the rec director or other hires?
There's always that possibility. I'm thinking where we just tabled the rec director, that's gonna pop up before then. You know, and what makes it hard too is trying to coincide with the select board's schedule too. So their agenda has to be just like all of ours on Thursdays. They meet on Tuesdays, if we meet on Mondays, and they're, you know, depending on the personnel committee's recommendation for Heather to move forward and make the appointment for them to ratify, it's tough to do them back to back as well. I know they're not meeting until December. After tomorrow. So, I mean, there probably is going to be a meeting before the scheduled. I will do my best. But I mean, for the rec director position, for example, we've been without a body for a couple months now. So,
Is there was a candidate, but now there is not?
we're not quite ready to go forward yet. Yeah. And it's just, yeah.
All right, last item is public comment again. Any public comment from the public?
No,
Okay. Thank you. And then any other comment from committee members? All right. Someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn 6:37 PM.
Second,
All right, all in favor, Joanna,
aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Wendy,
Aye.
and Donna,
Aye.
and Eric's and I. Thank you all very much.
Have a great Thanksgiving holiday if we don't get together beforehand.
And you as well.
I
Everybody
wish
have a
you-
good holiday.
All a blessed holiday.
Yes, you too.
Bye, thank you.